In this video I'm going to show you how to pot on some cuttings that you've taken and have rooted. Now we've got here some hebes that were taken on almost a year ago, actually, on 12th of the 3rd 20. It's quite useful to have the date on for that reference. They've been in the pot probably too long. They've got tucked away at the back and forgotten about a bit, really, so they've got a bit root bound. They should have been potted on before this, but this does happen. So you know, how can you deal with it? What do you do? So that's what I'm going to hopefully show you. So take out the label, and then what you want to do is you want to put your fingers. It's good practice to do, but it might not make much of a difference here because it's so pot bound. Is you put your fingers between the stems of the cuttings. That way you don't damage them, and that way you're going to catch them if they fall. You turn it upside down and you can give it a good tap and a squeeze, and hopefully it'll come out. So there we go. You can see how root bound it is, how all those roots have grown together. It's been left too long, like I say, so it needs to come apart. And what first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this moss that's grown on top. Put that in this compost bucket for composting, and some of these dead leaves that are on there, because they're only going to spread disease and fungal problems and maybe harbour pests and things, so we'll get rid of some of those dead leaves. Give it a bit of a shake off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fingers in between it, and I'm going to gently as you can. You do have to put a bit of force on sometimes. Start pulling them apart and teasing them apart, and you'll feel where it starts to come apart and where the roots have got to. The reality is you probably are going to damage some roots, but it's gone that far that there's nothing else you can do. But as long as you keep a good root ball and a good root system on there, which that one has got, which they've both got actually, in fact, they'll be absolutely fine. So let's pot them up. So we'll get a bit of peat-free compost in the bottom, and this is all a bit of trial and error, really. You're trying to sort of weigh up where the right height is, and the right height is going to be where it was in the compost before. So you can see it's there, just there. So I want that to be the same height when it goes in the pot. I want to leave a gap around the top of the pot as well for watering, so the water doesn't just flow over the edge, so you don't fill it right to the top with compost. You want to just gently push it down into the gaps. You can give it a tap as well to settle it down. Keep topping it up and smoothing it round. I mean, you can always top it up if you watered it and it's the soil has sunk a little bit. You can always water it, top it up again after watering, sorry, if it's sunk. So if you can see there, I've tried to put it in the middle, so the stem in the centre of the pot. That way it looks professional, and it looks like once it's grown and it's looking better, that and the pot's cleaned up, it'll be more sellable quality, will that be in the middle. If it's over the side or leaning or whatever, it doesn't look professional and commercial standard, so like a garden centre or a nursery standard, and that's what we're looking for. And it's always good practice to work to that level and that standard. So again, try and get it in the middle, the compost on, and give it a little shake and a little bit of a push down. But you don't want to firm it too hard, because you don't want it to be so compact that the soil becomes stagnant with water when you water it. But it wants to be firm, that it's going to hold it in place, and there's not going to be big pockets that when you water it, it sinks down. There you go. So 2 new plants completely free.